Fluent Flow podcast. New videos every day. Let's learn English together.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. This is the show where we look closely at interesting sources to bring you information you can really use. Today, we are doing something a little different, a bit unusual for us. We are not looking at, say, a complex scientific paper or, the latest news. Instead, our source today is actually a script. It's from an episode of the Fluent Flow podcast. And the episode is called How I Make My Days Better. Now, the Fluent Flow podcast, it's made specifically for people learning English. Beginners. So that means it uses a slow, clear, and calm pronunciation. The words are easy, and it talks about real life. And that's actually why it's such a great source for us today. It seems simple, but there's a lot there. Our goal isn't just about language. It's about finding those important nuggets of knowledge, those small things you can do every day, things that can genuinely help you feel happy, calm, and focused. So in our chat today, we're going to try and mirror that style, calm, measured, to really appreciate the simple but quite profound habits they talk about. It's a good reminder, isn't it? Sometimes the best ideas are found in, simple places. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, it's really interesting because this source, even though it's designed to be accessible, it taps straight into something deep about, us humans.
Yeah.
It's about the power of micro habits, these tiny actions. When the original podcast host talks about small things I do every day help me feel happy, calm, and focused, that lines up perfectly with a lot of behavioral science. You see, our brains, they aren't really wired for huge, sudden changes that can feel overwhelming. They respond much better to what psychologists often call small wins.
Small wins, okay.
Think about it like this. Big changes can feel threatening. They take a lot of energy. Maybe we worry about failing. But a micro habit, something really small, almost insignificant feeling, like making your bed, kind of bypasses that resistance. Your brain doesn't put up a fight. And every time you do one of these small things, your brain releases a little bit of dopamine.
The reward chemical.
Exactly. And it's not just about feeling good in the moment. Dopamine helps your brain learn. It says, hey, that was good. Let's do it again. So it creates this positive feedback loop. It reinforces the habit, makes it stick.
So it's more than just checking something off a list. You're actually retraining your brain.
Precisely. Yeah. And when these tiny successes add up, they build momentum. And that leads to a bigger feeling of well-being, feeling competent, and maybe most importantly, feeling like you have some control over your day, even if things outside feel chaotic. These small actions give you a sense of internal control. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like self-improvement advice, we often hear about making massive changes, right? Or following really complicated routine.
Totally. It can feel exhausting just reading about it.
Exactly. But this fluent flow approach, focusing on small things, it's so much gentler. It's an easier way in and helps avoid that all or nothing thinking that often leads to, giving up.
Yeah, it's like building with small bricks instead of trying to lift a whole wall at once, which feels impossible. And that makes it really relevant for anyone listening, doesn't it? No matter what their routine looks like now.
Absolutely. It applies to everyone. For you listening, thinking about these small things isn't about adding more stress to your day. It's about seeing that real change, feeling better. It often starts with tiny adjustments, things you almost don't notice. Yeah. It's not intimidating. It's practical. You can start right where you are with very little effort, really, and still get significant benefits. It's about growth that lasts, not quick fixes that burn you out.
Okay, so let's get into these actual small things, starting right at the beginning. The morning. The very first habit is waking up slowly. And the description is so clear, so simple. I don't check my phone. I sit up, I stretch, I take a deep breath. Then I smile. Even if I feel tired, I smile to start the day with positivity. After that, I drink water, just one glass. It helps me feel fresh. And the host, Jenny, she says the benefit is waking up slowly helps me feel better all day. It really feels like a deliberate sequence, like a little ritual. It really is. And what's fascinating here is that this whole sequence, it's like protecting your brain in those first few moments of the day. Avoiding the phone right away. That's huge. It's a mini digital detox. Because when you wake up and immediately grab your phone, check email, social media, you're basically flooding your brain with demands and information before it's even, fully online. Right. You're reacting straight away. Exactly. And that can trigger stress hormones like cortisol, which puts your brain in a reactive kind of anxious mode. You're starting the day responding to everyone else's agenda, not your own. And that really sets the tone, doesn't it? So instead of reacting, she's choosing.
Precisely. And then the next steps: sitting up, stretching, taking a deep breath. Those actions deliberately engage your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest system. It helps calm you down. Deep breathing especially stimulates something called the vagus nerve, which is really important for calming everything down, lowering heart rate, promoting peace. It's like sending a signal to your body and mind. It's okay, you're safe. Wake up gently.
And then the smiling part. Even if I feel tired, I smile. That one feels almost too simple. Does it really work?
Well, there's actually something to it. It connects with what's called the facial feedback hypothesis. The idea is that the physical act of smiling, the muscle movement, can actually influence your emotional state. Now, it's not magic. It won't cure deep sadness instantly. But even a forced smile can send a little signal to your brain's emotional center saying, maybe things are okay. And that can trigger a small release of mood-boosting chemicals like endorphins. So it's like gently nudging your mood in a positive direction, setting an intentional emotional tone.
Instead of just letting the tiredness take over.
Right. And then drinking water. Simple, but vital. After sleeping for hours, you're naturally a bit dehydrated. Rehydrating first thing helps everything work better, your body, your brain. Even mild dehydration can affect your focus and mood. So that whole sequence, avoiding the phone, the stretch and breath, the smile, the water, it's a really powerful act of self-care. It sets you up for a calmer, more focused day. It's an investment right from the start.
That deliberate start continues with the next habit. It's one lots of people talk about for productivity, but she frames it differently. It's about feeling good. It's making my bed. She says, this is a small action, but it gives me a good feeling. When I make my bed, I feel like my day is starting right. It's simple, but it feels good. No big claims about changing the world, just it feels good, that immediate sense of order.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, making the bed is often called the classic first win of the day. It's something you can do right away. It's achievable. And it gives you that instant feeling of accomplishment. And that little victory, it's not trivial. It sets off a positive chain reaction in your mind. It tells your brain, okay, I started the day by doing something. I finished a task. I can do more.
So it builds confidence for the rest of the day.
Exactly. It builds self-discipline just a tiny bit. It's a small example of self-efficacy, believing you can do things. There's that famous speech by Admiral McRaven, right? He said, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. It's about the power of small, consistent actions.
So it's not just about having a tidy room, it's setting a mental stage for being effective.
Precisely. And it also connects to that link between, an organized space and an organized mind. Studies have shown that clutter around us can actually drain our mental energy. It creates a kind of low-level stress.
I can believe that.
It makes it harder to focus. So by doing this one simple thing, creating order, you're not just tidying your sheets, you're reducing mental clutter too. You're giving your brain a visual cue that things are under control. It shows how these really small actions can lead to a feeling of mastery, of control, which boosts confidence. It's a mini demonstration. The small steps lead to good results.
Okay, so from tidying the physical space, she moves inward to the mental space. The next habit is writing one sentence. She explains, I open a small notebook and I write one sentence, just one examples. Today, I want to feel calm. Today, I will be kind to myself. This is like a little morning intention. It gives me focus. It helps me feel clear. That just one sentence part feels really important again, doesn't it? It stops it being this big journaling task. And the examples aren't tasks. They're about feelings or self-compassion.
Yes, that raises a really important question, doesn't it? How can something so short have a real impact? Well, it taps into the power of setting an intention. It's a big concept in mindfulness and psychology. When you consciously state, even in one sentence, how you want to be or feel, you're kind of directing your brain's attention filter. It's called the reticular activating system. You're telling your brain what's important today, what to focus on.
Like programming it for the day.
Sort of, yeah. If you set the intention, today I want to feel calm, your brain is more likely to notice opportunities for calm or to choose calmer responses. It cuts through all that mental noise we often wake up with. It gives you a single, clear focus.
A compass for your mindset, not just a list of things to do.
Exactly. It's more about being than doing. And those examples she gives, like, today I will be kind to myself, they're really insightful because choosing self-kindness as an intention, that's actually quite radical in our busy, demanding world.
It really is. We're often so hard on ourselves.
We are. And research shows again and again that self-compassion is linked to being more resilient, less anxious, just generally feeling better. So setting that intention is an active choice to nurture yourself. And that can really change how you handle the day's challenges. It's like an anchor inside you.
Then comes breakfast time. but approached in a really mindful way. The habit is enjoying a quiet breakfast and listening to something positive. She describes making tea or coffee, a simple breakfast, maybe toast, fruit, eggs. And then the key part, I sit down and I enjoy it. No phone, no news, just me and my breakfast.
She says, this quiet time helps me feel peaceful. And while eating, I like to listen to something positive, music, a podcast, something soft, something calm. It gives my mind good energy. I really like that deliberate quietness, creating a peaceful bubble at the start of the day. It's fascinating, isn't it? Because it's about being mindful about two kinds of consumption, what you eat and what you mentally consume. Information, eating quietly without distractions. That's mindful eating. When you slow down, really taste your food, pay attention, it actually helps your digestion. You feel more satisfied.
I bet you notice when you're full, too.
Exactly. It helps regulate your body's signals. It's the complete opposite of, wolfing down breakfast while scrolling through stressful news headlines. That often just triggers anxiety before you've even properly started.
So it's intentional input, not just the food itself.
Precisely. And the second part, listening to something soft, something calm for good energy. That's brilliant. It's like auditory priming, information control. Your mind is quite open, quite receptive in the morning. Choosing calming music or an uplifting podcast instead of, say, jarring news or social media, it prepares your mind gently, positively. It can genuinely influence your mood, lower stress. Some sounds can even help your brainwaves relax or focus. So it sets this baseline of peace and clarity. It fits perfectly with that whole calm and slow approach.
Okay, moving into the middle of the day now, that theme of small, manageable actions keeps coming up. Jenny talks about doing this. I clean a little bit. She says, after breakfast, I clean just one thing. Maybe I wash the dishes. Maybe I fold some clothes. Maybe I organize my desk. Not everything, just a little. And the reason, cleaning a little helps my space feel better. And when my space feels better, I feel better too. Again, that just one thing rule seems key. Avoiding the overwhelm of I have to clean the whole house. And she makes that direct link. Tidy space, better feeling inside.
Yes, and if we connect that to the bigger picture, it taps right into how our environment affects us psychologically. There's research, I think, from Princeton showing that physical clutter actually competes for your attention. It overloads your visual system.
Really? Like it takes up brain space?
Yeah, basically. It makes it harder to focus, harder to process information. A messy space can be a low-key source of stress and drain your mental energy. So by doing just one thing, she's using a great strategy. Breaking a big task like cleaning into tiny micro chores. This makes it so much easier to get started. It overcomes that feeling of, ugh, where do I even begin?
It's like you trick yourself into starting and then maybe do a bit more.
Maybe. Or maybe just the one thing is enough for that day. Each small act clears a bit of physical clutter and also a bit of mental clutter. It gives you that little hit of accomplishment again, a sense of control. It's really a form of self-care through organizing your space. When your environment feels better, calmer, your mind tends to follow.
So, after creating some physical order, she moves to mental order again, the next habit, making a simple plan. She says, then I open my notebook, I write a small list. Example, walk outside, study English, eat healthy lunch rest at 4:00 p.m. And the key is, I don't add too much, just 3 or 4 things. This small plan helps me feel clear and calm. That focus on small and 3 or 4 things seems crucial again, managing expectations.
So what does this simple plan actually do for us? Why is it so effective?
Well, it's a great way to combat something called decision fatigue. We make so many choices all day long, right? From tiny things to big things. And each choice uses up a bit of mental energy.
Yeah, by the end of the day, making even simple decisions can feel hard.
Exactly. So by planning just a few key things in advance, you reduce the number of decisions you have to make later on. You save that mental energy. It's not about packing your day relentlessly. It's about being thoughtful about where your energy goes.
And it feels more realistic, like you're setting yourself up to succeed, not fail by trying to do too much. Precisely. It's realistic goal setting. A list of 3 or 4 achievable things you're likely to actually do them. And that feels good. It builds that sense of competence. An impossibly long list just makes you feel inadequate at the end of the day. This approach moves you from just reacting to whatever pops up to being intentional about your day, making sure the important things like rest or learning actually happen. It brings clarity and, yes, calm.
The midday also includes getting outside, a habit called taking a walk. She describes it very simply. In the afternoon, I take a short walk. I go outside. I look at the sky, I listen to the birds, I feel the wind. And importantly, even 10 minutes is enough. When I move my body, my mind feels happy. It's not about a long hike or intense exercise, just 10 minutes, engaging the senses, connecting with nature.
What's fascinating here is how she instinctively touches on the known benefits of being in nature, sometimes called green exercise or nature therapy. There's so much research now showing that even short periods spent outside, especially in green spaces, can lower stress hormones, reduce blood pressure, lift your mood.
Just 10 minutes can do that.
Apparently so. And it can boost cognitive function too.
Yeah.
There's a theory called attention restoration theory. It suggests that nature engages our attention effortlessly. It's not like the focused effort needed for work, which tires us out. Nature kind of gently holds our attention and restores it.
So it's like a mental refresh button.
Exactly. And it's not just the view, it's the movement, good for endorphins, circulation, mood, but also the sensory part she mentions. Looking, listening, feeling the wind, that pulls you into the present moment. It's mindfulness in action. It gives your brain a break from worries and to-do lists. Just 10 minutes can be incredibly restorative. A real happy mind moment, as she puts it.
And following that theme of giving the mind a break, the next habit directly tackles modern life. Taking breaks from my phone. Her instructions are very concrete. During the day, I take breaks from my phone. I put my phone in another room for 1 hour. I don't check messages. I don't open apps. I just breathe and do real things. The benefits. This helps me focus. It helps my mind feel more free. Putting it in another room for a set time, that really underlines the commitment, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And this raises a really important question for all of us, right? Why is intentionally disconnecting so vital? We live with this constant stream of digital stuff, notifications, information, the feeling we might miss something. It really fragments our attention. It tires our brains out. There's this idea called attention residue. When you switch tasks quickly, like glancing at a notification then trying to go back to work, part of your brain is still thinking about that notification. That residue makes it harder to fully focus on what you're doing now.
Wow. So even those super quick checks we think are harmless, they actually cost us focus.
They do. They have a hidden cognitive cost. So by putting the phone away, physically away, for a set time, Jenny is creating a space for her brain to actually rest, to consolidate thoughts, to engage deeply without interruption. It lets her focus on real things, whether that's work or a hobby or just being present. And the slightly counterintuitive thing is, these breaks often lead to better productivity and focus, and maybe even more creativity, because your mind isn't constantly switching gears. It really does help your mind feel more free, less pulled in a million directions. It's about reclaiming your focus.
Okay, as we move towards the end of the day, the habits shift focus again, towards winding down, self-care, preparing for rest. The first evening habit is doing one kind thing for myself. And I love the examples she gives, showing how simple it can be. It can be small: take a warm shower, write something I love, watch a funny video, do a face mask, take a nap. And her conclusion: kindness to yourself is powerful. It really emphasizes that small acts count.
Yes, and what does this mean for us? Why is this so important? It really highlights self-compassion as something you practice intentionally every day. Our culture often pushes productivity, achievement, putting others first. So taking time just for yourself can almost feel selfish.
Yeah, or like you should be doing something more productive.
Exactly. But self-kindness isn't selfish. It's essential. It's necessary for managing stress, for emotional resilience, for avoiding burnout. These small acts, they're like little deposits into your well-being account. They recharge your mental and emotional batteries. They stop that slow drain that leads to exhaustion.
So it's about recognizing your own needs in that moment, not just pushing through until you collapse.
Right. And the key is that it's personal. What feels kind and recharging for one person might not for another. That's why her varied examples are so good. It's not another chore. It's choosing something that genuinely brings you ease or comfort or joy. Doing this regularly builds a better, kinder relationship with yourself. It fosters inner security, and actually, it makes you better able to handle things and engage positively with others too. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then the final habit brings the day to a gentle close, ending my day slowly. This mirrors the slow start to the morning, which feels really nice and balanced. She says, at night, I slow down again. I put on soft music. I turn off big lights. I drink tea. I sit quietly. Sometimes I write one sentence. Today I did my best. Today I am proud. The purpose. This helps me feel peace. Then I go to sleep early. I rest. I give my body and mind time to heal. It's about creating calm, winding down deliberately, and that little bit of self-acceptance before sleep.
Yes, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is basically perfect sleep hygiene, which is so crucial for our health, physical, mental, everything. Our bodies and minds aren't like light switches. You can't just flick them off. We need a wind down period to shift from the go, go, go mode of the day to the rest and repair mode needed for sleep. So soft music, dim lights, warm tea, these are all signals to your brain. Okay, time to prepare for rest.
The dim lights thing is important, isn't it? Because of screens and melatonin.
Exactly. Bright light, especially the blue light from phones and screens, tells your brain it's still daytime. It suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone, so dimming the lights helps your body's natural sleep processes kick in.
And those sentences she writes, "Today I did my best. Today I am proud." That feels like more than just journaling. It feels like closing the loop on the day.
It really is. It's a powerful way to manage thoughts and emotions before sleep. Often when we lie down, our minds start racing, right? Replaying problems, worrying about tomorrow. That makes it hard to sleep. By consciously thinking about something positive, acknowledging effort, feeling pride, you're choosing self-acceptance over self-criticism. It helps bring a sense of closure, reduces that negative rumination.
Letting go of the day.
Precisely, which makes it much easier to fall asleep peacefully and get that deep restorative rest. The deliberate slowing down allows your body and mind time to actually heal, like she says. Repair tissues, process memories and emotions, truly recharge. It's a huge investment in your next day's energy and mood.
So we've walked through all these really lovely, simple habits. And Jenny, the host of the original podcast, ends with a really important point about being realistic. She says, "These are my little habits. They help me make my days better." But then adds, crucially, "I don't do all of them perfectly, but I try. Every day. I try to feel calm. I try to feel kind. I try to feel proud." It's not about perfection, is it? It's about the trying, the gentle effort.
That is such a key point. It really gets to the heart of sustainable change and well-being. It's about progress, not perfection. So much self-help advice can accidentally create this all-or-nothing feeling. You miss one day and you think, oh, I failed. Might as well stop.
Yeah, that feeling is very common.
It is. But this Fluent Flow way, with its calm, gentle approach, it communicates something different. It says consistency and effort matter more than being flawless. Missing one day doesn't erase the benefits of the days you did do it, or the intention to try again. It encourages a kinder relationship with yourself, accepting we're human.
That feels so much more encouraging. It makes these habits feel possible for anyone, really, no matter how busy or stressed they are. You don't need to be perfect.
Exactly. It empowers you, the listener, to maybe just pick one or two things from this list that feel right for you now, and just try them. The focus isn't on doing the habit perfectly, but on noticing how it makes you feel. Does it bring a little calm, a bit of kindness, a touch of pride? It's a really refreshing way to think about improving your days. And, it does raise an interesting question for all of us. Given how simple and beneficial these habits seem, why can it be so hard to do them sometimes? Maybe the real challenge isn't the doing itself. Maybe it's giving ourselves permission to slow down, permission to be kind to ourselves, permission to actually prioritize how we feel inside in a world that's always pushing us to do more faster. That's definitely something worth thinking about as you go about your own day.
That's a really powerful thought to end on. What a journey through these simple habits. It really shows how small, intentional actions, waking slowly, setting an intention, taking breaks, being kind to yourself, winding down, can add up to make a real difference in how happy, calm, and focused we feel. It's not about grand gestures or perfect routines. It's about that consistent, gentle effort, trying every day. Thank you for listening to Fluent Flow Podcast. You are doing a great job. Keep listening, keep learning, keep growing. See you next time, my friend. Bye-bye.